Have you ever found yourself stuck in a situation where it feels like there's no way out? Or maybe you've wondered, why does life sometimes feel so unfair, even when you try your best? What if there was a way to not only overcome life's toughest challenges, but to truly win in every situation? Imagine navigating every problem with confidence and grace, no matter how big or small. Is it really possible to turn every moment into a victory, no matter what life throws at you? Let me share a simple story to illustrate this. Imagine a person who faces a difficult day at work, a heavy load of tasks, and a boss who seems impossible to please. Instead of reacting with stress or frustration, this person decides to stay calm, take a deep breath, and approach the day with a positive mindset. By the end of the day, they not only get through their tasks but also build a better relationship with their boss and colleagues. They didn't change the situation, but they changed how they faced it. That shift made all the difference. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we explore timeless truths to transform how you view life and its challenges. If you want to learn how to handle every situation with wisdom, grace, and clarity, stay tuned. This channel is here to help you discover the power you already have within. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% of viewers actually subscribe. So, if you haven't yet, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven now. Don't miss out on the valuable insights that could change your life for the better. We promise you won't regret it. In this video, we'll dive deep into how understanding your mind, your actions, and your reactions can help you not just survive but truly thrive in any situation. From Buddhist teachings to practical strategies, you'll learn how to shift your mindset and face life's challenges with a new perspective. So, stay with us, and let's explore how to start winning every situation in life. The nature of life's challenges. Understanding the battlefield. Life is a battlefield, but it is not always a war. Often, we view life's challenges as something to fight against, something that's out to get us. But what if this perspective is what makes everything harder? What if instead of seeing life as a series of battles to be won, we saw it as a series of opportunities for growth? Life doesn't throw challenges at us because we are weak. It offers them because we are strong enough to face them, and every challenge, no matter how tough, is an invitation to become better. Let's start with a simple truth. Challenges are part of life. Everyone faces them. Whether they're big, like losing a job, or facing illness, or smaller, like having a difficult conversation with a friend or dealing with a bad day at work. They're not personal attacks. They're simply a natural part of being alive. No one is exempt from them. In fact, without challenges, life would lose its flavor. It's the obstacles that teach us the most. Without them, we would never learn resilience, patience, or perseverance. Think about it. If every day were perfect, we would have no reason to grow. But here's the thing that many people miss. It's not the challenges that define us, but how we respond to them. Think about how many times you've encountered a situation that seemed impossible, only to look back later and realize that you grew from it. You might have thought you couldn't handle it, but in the end, you did. And in the process, you learned something valuable about yourself and the world around you. That's the essence of life's challenges. They are not designed to break us, but to show us our true strength. The Buddha taught that life is full of suffering, but this doesn't mean that life is miserable or hopeless. It simply means that life's difficulties are inevitable. Birth, sickness, aging, and death. These are the four unavoidable truths of life. And yet, within these truths lies the key to overcoming suffering, understanding. When we understand that challenges are a natural part of life, they no longer seem like enemies but rather teachers. They are there to help us realize what we are capable of, to reveal our inner potential. But understanding is not enough on its own. We must also learn how to face these challenges with the right mindset. When we encounter difficulties, our first instinct is often to react with fear, frustration, or anger. These reactions make the situation worse. We become overwhelmed, and instead of finding solutions, we get stuck in negative emotions. But if we can pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and shift our focus, we can change the entire course of the situation. This is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without judgment. It's about observing our thoughts and feelings without becoming attached to them. When we apply mindfulness to life's challenges, we can see them clearly. without the cloud of emotion distorting our view. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can respond thoughtfully and calmly. In this state, we are no longer at the mercy of our circumstances. We become the master of our response. But how do we cultivate this mindset? The first step is acceptance. When we face challenges, we often resist them. We wish they weren't happening, we complain about them, we deny their existence. But resistance only makes the situation harder. Acceptance, on the other hand, doesn't mean giving up or resigning ourselves to suffering. It means acknowledging the reality of the situation without trying to escape it. It means saying, yes, this is difficult. Yes, this is painful. But I am here, and I will face it. Once we accept the situation, we can begin to look for solutions. Sometimes, the solution is not immediately clear, and that's okay. Not every challenge has a quick fix. But by accepting the challenge and maintaining a calm and open mind, we create the space for the right answers to emerge. This is where wisdom comes into play. Wisdom is not about knowing everything. It's about knowing how to respond to the unknown. It's about trusting that, even in the face of uncertainty, we have the ability to find our way. Let's take a moment to think about a challenge you are facing right now. It could be big or small. Whatever it is, try to view it from a different perspective. Instead of seeing it as a problem, see it as an opportunity. An opportunity to learn something new about yourself, to grow stronger, to become wiser. Life's challenges are not obstacles. They are the stepping stones to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. The more we embrace them, the more we move forward. The Buddha also spoke about the concept of impermanence. Everything in life is constantly changing, including our challenges. The difficult situation you are facing today may seem overwhelming, but remember, it won't last forever. Just as the clouds move across the sky, your difficulties will also pass. The key is to not get stuck in the moment. When we are caught in the storm, it's easy to forget that the sun is still shining somewhere. By remembering that all things are temporary, we can find comfort in knowing that better days are ahead. But while challenges are inevitable, how we deal with them is up to us. We don't have to face them alone, and we don't have to face them with fear. When we cultivate mindfulness, acceptance, and wisdom, we can approach any situation with confidence. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to practice these qualities and to grow into the person we are meant to be. It's not about avoiding challenges. It's about learning how to embrace them and learn from them. As we navigate life's battlefield, we can take inspiration from the teachings of the Buddha, who showed us that while suffering is a part of life, it doesn't have to define us. We can rise above it, not by avoiding it, but by facing it with awareness, acceptance, and wisdom. Life's challenges are not there to defeat us. They are there to reveal our true potential. Every challenge is an invitation to discover just how strong, capable, and wise we truly are. Remember, it's not the challenge itself that matters, but how we face it. With the right mindset, any situation can be transformed from a source of stress and suffering into an opportunity for growth and learning. This is the power we have within us, the ability to face life's challenges with clarity, calm, and wisdom. And when we do, we win every time. The power of perspective, seeing situations clearly. Life often feels overwhelming. Every day brings new challenges, and sometimes it feels like the universe is throwing one obstacle after another your way. But what if I told you that the way you see these challenges could be the key to overcoming them? What if your perspective, how you choose to view a situation, is what determines whether you win or lose? Buddhism teaches us that reality is not fixed. It is shaped by our thoughts, beliefs, and the way we interpret the world around us. The Buddha often spoke about how suffering arises not from the events themselves, but from our attachments and reactions to them. The same situation can appear completely different depending on the lens through which we view it. Imagine two people facing the same difficulty. One sees it as an unbearable burden, while the other sees it as an opportunity to grow. The difference? Their perspective. Let me give you a simple example. Suppose you're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. You could react by feeling frustrated, angry, and stressed. This is the worst, you might think. But is the traffic really the problem? Or is it your reaction to it? The fact is, the traffic is out of your control. But your reaction? That is entirely up to you. If you shift your perspective, You might see this time as an opportunity to relax, to listen to an audiobook, or to simply enjoy a moment of peace. The situation hasn't changed, but your experience of it has. This simple shift in how you see things can transform your entire experience of life. The Buddha teaches that we often create our own suffering by clinging to our desires and expectations. We expect things to go a certain way, and when they don't, we feel frustrated. But when we let go of these expectations and simply accept things as they are, we free ourselves from unnecessary pain. The key here is acceptance, accepting the moment as it is without judgment. When we stop fighting against the flow of life, we can begin to move with it instead of constantly struggling. This is where the power of perspective becomes truly powerful. By changing the way we see situations, we can change our entire experience. Let me take this further. Let's say you lose your job. For many, this would be a devastating blow. But let's consider this. What if this loss is not a setback but a redirection? What if it is an opportunity to pursue a dream you had been too afraid to follow? What if the universe, or life itself, is gently nudging you towards something better? By viewing this setback as an opportunity rather than a failure, you begin to see it from a new perspective, one that opens up possibilities instead of shutting them down. The truth is, we all have the power to shift our perspective at any moment. It is a practice, a skill that we can cultivate with time and effort. When we face challenges, we don't have to see them as obstacles to our happiness. Instead, we can choose to see them as opportunities for growth, learning, and transformation. This is the essence of mindfulness, a core practice in Buddhism. Mindfulness is about being present in the moment, without judgment, and accepting things as they are. By practicing mindfulness, we train ourselves to see life more clearly, to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, and to find peace even in the most difficult circumstances. Buddhist teachings also emphasize the importance of seeing through the illusion of permanence. In life, everything is constantly changing. The situations we face today are not the same as those we will face tomorrow. Our feelings, our challenges, our successes, they are all temporary. By recognizing the impermanence of life, we can stop holding on to things too tightly. We stop clinging to our idea of how things should be and learn to flow with the natural rhythm of life. But how can we begin to change our perspective in everyday life? It starts with awareness. When you find yourself in a difficult situation, take a moment to pause. Instead of reacting immediately, step back and ask yourself, how can I view this differently? What is this situation trying to teach me? By simply questioning your initial reaction, you create space for a new perspective to emerge. Another powerful tool for changing perspective is gratitude. When things aren't going well, it's easy to focus on everything that's wrong. But by practicing gratitude, we shift our focus to what is good, what is working, and what we have. A simple practice of gratitude can transform our outlook on life. When we appreciate the small things, a warm cup of tea, a smile from a stranger, the beauty of nature, we begin to see that there is always something to be grateful for, even in challenging times. Buddhism teaches us to see with a clear mind, free from the clutter of judgments and expectations. When we approach life with an open mind, we begin to see the world as it truly is, not as we wish it to be. We stop creating stories in our heads about what should happen and start accepting life as it comes. This acceptance doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It means embracing the present moment fully, without resistance. As we continue to deepen our practice of mindfulness and awareness, we start to see the connections between our thoughts, emotions, and actions. We realize that our perspective shapes not just our experience of life, but the outcomes we create. The more we shift our perspective, the more we begin to see life as a series of opportunities, each one offering a lesson, a gift, or a chance to grow. The power of perspective is not just about how we view the world, but also how we view ourselves. Often, we are our own worst critics. We hold ourselves to impossible standards and believe that we are not good enough. But when we shift our perspective, we begin to see ourselves with kindness, understanding, and compassion. We realize that we are all human, and it's okay to make mistakes. In fact, our mistakes are often our greatest teachers. Buddhism teaches us that we are not separate from the world around us. We are all interconnected. When we see others through the lens of compassion and empathy, we begin to understand that their suffering is not so different from our own. By changing our perspective on others, we can build stronger, more meaningful relationships and create a sense of unity and connection. In conclusion, the power of perspective is one of the most transformative tools we have in our lives. It's the lens through which we see the world, and it can either limit us or set us free. By practicing mindfulness, embracing impermanence, and cultivating gratitude, we begin to see life in a whole new light. So the next time you face a challenge, remember, it's not the situation itself, but how you choose to see it that will determine your experience. Shift your perspective, and you may just find that the key to winning every situation in life has always been within you. Mindfulness as a weapon, staying present amidst chaos. In life, we often find ourselves overwhelmed by the chaos around us. We are constantly thinking about the past, worrying about the future, or trying to control things that are beyond our reach. But what if the secret to navigating life's challenges lies in something as simple as paying attention to the present moment? This is the power of mindfulness, the ability to stay present, no matter what is happening around you. Mindfulness is like a weapon that sharpens your mind, focusing it like a laser beam on what is happening right now. When you practice mindfulness, you stop getting lost in thoughts about what has happened or what might happen. Instead, you learn to be fully engaged in the present. It sounds simple, but it is one of the most powerful tools you can use to transform your experience of life. Imagine you're in a stressful situation at work. The pressure is building up, and the deadlines are closing in. Your mind races, thinking about all the things that could go wrong. But instead of getting swept away by the anxiety, you take a deep breath. You focus on the task at hand. You bring your attention to the present moment, to what you can do right now. You stop worrying about the future and stop regretting the past. By staying present, you not only find clarity, but you also create space to make better decisions and take effective actions. This is the essence of mindfulness, to focus on what is happening now, without judgment or distraction. It's about being fully engaged in whatever you're doing, whether you're working, talking to someone, eating, or even just sitting quietly. When you practice mindfulness, you stop fighting against the current of life. Instead, you flow with it, responding to each moment with awareness and calmness. In Buddhism, mindfulness is one of the key practices to achieving peace and wisdom. The Buddha taught that most of our suffering comes from being trapped in our thoughts. We either dwell on the past or worry about the future, but we forget to live in the present. By being mindful, we free ourselves from this mental prison. We can enjoy life more fully, make wiser choices, and find peace in even the most challenging circumstances. But how do we develop mindfulness? The answer is simple: practice. Just like any skill, mindfulness requires consistent practice. One of the easiest ways to begin is by focusing on your breath. Every time you feel stressed or distracted, simply pay attention to your breathing. Feel the air entering your lungs and leaving your body. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly. Whenever your mind wanders, gently bring your attention back to your breath. This practice grounds you in the present moment, and over time, it becomes easier to stay mindful, even in more difficult situations. Another important aspect of mindfulness is observing your thoughts without judgment. Instead of reacting to your thoughts, you simply observe them. Notice when your mind starts to race, or when negative thoughts arise. Instead of trying to push them away or react to them, just watch them. Acknowledge that these thoughts are just passing clouds in the sky of your mind. They come and go. By not attaching to them, you break the cycle of stress and anxiety. Mindfulness also helps you become more aware of your emotions. When you're mindful, you're able to notice how you're feeling in any given moment, without being overwhelmed by it. For example, if you're feeling angry, instead of letting that anger control you, you acknowledge it. You recognize that you're angry, but you don't let it define you. You allow the emotion to pass through you, like a wave that rises and falls. By practicing mindfulness, you create space between your emotions and your actions. This gives you the power to respond to situations more calmly and thoughtfully. When you're mindful, you begin to notice the small details of life that you might otherwise overlook. The sound of birds chirping, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the taste of food as you eat it. These simple experiences become richer and more meaningful when you pay attention to them. This is the beauty of mindfulness. It helps you connect more deeply with life and with yourself. In times of stress, mindfulness is especially powerful. Imagine you're facing a difficult conversation with someone, maybe a colleague or a loved one. You feel nervous, your heart races, and your mind starts to spiral with thoughts of what might happen. But by practicing mindfulness, you can pause. You take a deep breath and focus on the present moment. You listen to the other person without judgment, and you respond from a place of clarity instead of reaction. This ability to stay calm and present in moments of stress is what helps you navigate life's challenges with grace. The practice of mindfulness is not about escaping life's problems. It's about facing them with a clear mind and a calm heart. When you're mindful, you're no longer ruled by your emotions or your thoughts. You're able to make decisions from a place of wisdom and awareness. This makes you more effective in all areas of your life, from work to relationships to personal growth. One of the most powerful aspects of mindfulness is its ability to help you find peace in the midst of chaos. Life is rarely calm or predictable. There are always challenges, surprises, and unexpected twists. But when you're mindful, you learn to accept these changes without resistance. Instead of fighting against them, you flow with them. You adapt to each situation with presence and awareness, knowing that everything is temporary and everything will pass. This mindset helps you stay grounded, even when the world around you feels unstable. Mindfulness also connects you to the deeper truth of who you are. In the midst of all the noise of life, you begin to notice the stillness within you. This stillness is always present, no matter what is happening externally. It is the part of you that is unchanging, the part of you that is always calm, always aware. When you connect with this inner stillness, you find a source of strength that no external circumstance can shake. This inner peace becomes your anchor, no matter what challenges you face. The more you practice mindfulness, the more it becomes a part of your daily life. You begin to notice the moments of mindfulness in all that you do. Whether you're walking, eating, or just sitting in silence, you learn to bring your full attention to the present moment. This is the key to transforming your life. By learning to live fully in the now, you become more focused, more calm, and more effective in everything you do. Ultimately, mindfulness is about bringing your attention to what matters most, the present moment. It's about learning to embrace life as it is, without trying to change it, control it, or escape from it. By staying present, you tap into a deeper wisdom that allows you to navigate even the most challenging situations with ease. Mindfulness doesn't make life easier. It makes you stronger, more resilient, and more capable of facing whatever comes your way. So, the next time you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Bring your attention back to the present moment. Feel the sensations in your body, the rhythm of your breath, the world around you. This is the power of mindfulness. It is the weapon you can use to stay calm, focused, and clear, no matter what life throws at you. And with this power, you can truly begin to win in every situation. The role of karma, creating your future through actions. Life is a series of moments, and every action we take, no matter how small, sets the course for the future. Think about this for a moment. Have you ever noticed that the way you treat others often comes back to you? If you smile at someone, often, they will smile back. If you help someone in need, chances are, when you are in need, someone will help you. This is not just coincidence. It's the principle of karma. In simple terms, karma is the law of cause and effect. Every thought, word, and action we put into the world creates a ripple. Just as a stone thrown into a pond creates waves that spread in all directions, our actions create outcomes that extend far beyond the immediate moment. This is one of the core teachings of Buddhism. But how does this apply to your everyday life? Let's break it down with a simple example. Imagine you are driving, and you see another car cut you off in traffic. You feel angry, frustrated, and maybe even shout at the driver. In that moment, you are creating negative energy, not just for the other person, but for yourself too. That anger can ruin your day, cloud your mind, and lead to poor decisions. But what if, instead of reacting with anger, you chose to stay calm, let the driver pass, and let go of that frustration? You've created positive energy instead. Even though the situation didn't change, your response to it did. And over time, this simple shift can transform how you handle all situations in life. The beauty of karma is that it's not just about good or bad things coming back to you. It's about the quality of the energy you put into the world. When you put out positivity, compassion, and understanding, you are creating a foundation for peace and happiness in your own life. It's like planting seeds. You don't see the fruit of the seeds immediately, but eventually, you will reap the benefits. In Buddhism, it is said that the key to creating good karma is acting with intention. It's not just about doing good deeds. It's about doing them with a pure heart. When you act with kindness, when you offer help without expecting anything in return, when you speak words that encourage others, these actions are like seeds of positivity that grow over time. Now, think about the opposite. If you are always angry, critical, or selfish, you are planting seeds of negativity. Even though it might seem like small actions, they can compound over time, leading to a life filled with dissatisfaction, conflict, and frustration. The energy you put out affects not only your own mind but also the people around you. This is why, in Buddhism, there's a strong focus on cultivating mindfulness in every action. It's not about perfection. It's about awareness and intention. Karma is not a punishment or a reward. It's simply the natural result of your actions. And the best part? You can always change the course of your future by changing the way you act in the present. Even if you've made mistakes in the past, it's never too late to start planting better seeds. Each moment is a new opportunity to choose how you respond, how you act, and how you treat others. Let's look at an example from the teachings of the Buddha. He once said, "If you light a lamp for someone, it will also brighten your path." This simple statement teaches us that when we help others, we not only benefit them but also ourselves. Every time you help someone, whether it's a kind word, a helping hand, or simply offering your time, you are creating a future that is filled with compassion, understanding, and kindness. This doesn't mean you should always put others before yourself, but it means that kindness and generosity should be a natural part of who you are. It's important to understand that karma is not just about big, grand gestures. It's the little things, the way you speak to the cashier at the store, the way you listen to a friend, the way you take a moment to help someone in need, even when it's inconvenient. These small acts of kindness and respect create a chain of positive effects, both for you and the people you interact with. Now, you might be thinking, but what if I've done bad things in the past? Can I still create good karma? The answer is yes. Karma is not set in stone. Just as you can create negative karma, you can also change the course of your life by making better choices in the present. The Buddha taught that we have the power to shape our future through the choices we make today. The moment you recognize that you want to change, you've already set the wheels in motion for a new, more positive path. In Buddhism, there's a practice known as right action, which is one of the elements of the Noble Eightfold Path. Right action is about living in a way that aligns with moral principles, such as honesty, nonviolence, and compassion. It's about making choices that reflect your highest values and understanding the consequences of your actions. When you live with right action, you are actively creating good karma and building a future that is in harmony with your deepest desires for peace and happiness. The power of karma lies in its ability to transform your life from the inside out. It's not just about external circumstances changing. It's about how you change in response to those circumstances. When you approach life with a clear and compassionate mind, you naturally begin to attract positive situations and people into your life. The universe responds to the energy you put out, and the more you embody kindness, understanding, and patience, the more you will see these qualities reflected in your life. But karma is also about understanding that everything is interconnected. Every action you take affects the whole world, and every person you meet is part of a larger web of life. By acting with mindfulness and compassion, you are not only improving your own life, but also contributing to the well-being of others. This interconnectedness is a core belief in Buddhism, and it's a powerful reminder that our actions have a ripple effect far beyond what we can see. The beauty of karma is that it doesn't rely on external rewards or punishments. It's not about waiting for something to come back to you. Instead, it's about the satisfaction that comes from knowing you are living in a way that aligns with your values and your highest self. When you act with good intention, you don't need external validation because the peace and contentment you feel within yourself is enough. So, how can you begin to create positive karma in your life right now? Start by being mindful of your actions. Pay attention to how you treat others, how you react to difficult situations, and how you choose to spend your time and energy. Ask yourself, are my actions in line with the person I want to be? Am I creating the kind of future I want for myself and others? And most importantly, remember that every small step counts. The more you practice acting with intention, the more you will see the positive effects in your life. In conclusion, karma teaches us that we have the power to create our future through the choices we make today. By acting with kindness, compassion, and mindfulness, you are building a life filled with peace, happiness, and positive energy. The energy you put into the world is the energy that will come back to you. So, take responsibility for your actions, and know that every moment is an opportunity to create a better future, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. Compassion as a strategy, turning enemies into allies. Life often presents us with difficult people or situations. It's easy to get frustrated, angry, or defensive when someone doesn't treat us the way we think we deserve. But what if we could shift our perspective and view these people or challenges not as obstacles but as opportunities? Opportunities to practice something deeply transformative, compassion. Compassion is not just about being kind or forgiving to others. It's about understanding their pain, their struggles, and their fears. It's about recognizing that, just like us, everyone is facing their own battles. When we cultivate compassion, we start to see the world and those around us with a different set of eyes, eyes that are not clouded by judgment, but clear with understanding. Let me ask you a simple question. When was the last time you responded to someone's harsh words or actions with compassion? It's not easy, right? The natural instinct is to fight back or withdraw. But imagine, just for a moment, if you chose a different path. Instead of retaliating, you chose to understand. Instead of closing off, you chose to open your heart. This doesn't mean we allow others to mistreat us, nor does it mean we have to agree with everything they say or do. Compassion is about responding with empathy and wisdom, rather than reacting out of anger or hurt. When you practice compassion, you are not only helping the other person, but you are also freeing yourself from the chains of negativity and frustration. In Buddhism, compassion is one of the central teachings. It is believed that by cultivating compassion, we free ourselves from suffering. Think about it. When we respond with anger or hatred, we only create more suffering for ourselves. But when we choose compassion, we break that cycle. We can still address the problem, but now we are doing it from a place of love and understanding, not from a place of vengeance or frustration. Imagine a situation where you're having a difficult conversation with someone, maybe a colleague or even a friend, and their words are sharp and cutting. Instead of immediately reacting, take a deep breath and pause. What if their words are coming from a place of fear or insecurity? What if their anger is not really about you, but about something they are struggling with internally? By considering this, you can approach the situation with compassion. You might respond by saying something like, "I understand you're upset, and I want to hear what's bothering you," rather than reacting defensively. This simple shift can completely change the dynamic of the conversation. Compassion is also powerful in transforming relationships. Often, we get stuck in patterns of conflict, where each person feels misunderstood or hurt. But when you choose to approach the situation with compassion, it opens the door for healing. You begin to see the humanity in the other person, and this creates a bridge of connection. It's like planting a seed of peace in the soil of conflict. Over time, with patience and understanding, that seed can grow into a strong relationship built on mutual respect and kindness. This doesn't mean that compassion is a one-time thing. It's a practice, a habit that requires consistent effort. At first, it may feel unnatural, especially when you are dealing with people who have hurt you or made your life difficult. But as you continue to practice, you'll find that your heart opens more, and your reactions become more calm and thoughtful. In fact, you may start to notice that the more compassion you offer to others, the more peace and happiness you feel in your own life. There's also an incredible power in self-compassion. We often beat ourselves up for our mistakes, for not being perfect, for not living up to our own expectations. But this only adds to our suffering. Instead, when we practice self-compassion, we acknowledge our mistakes, but we also show ourselves kindness and understanding. We remember that we are human, and it's okay to make mistakes. In fact, mistakes are a part of the journey toward wisdom and growth. Self-compassion allows us to heal, to learn, and to move forward without carrying unnecessary guilt or shame. By integrating compassion into your life, you begin to transform not just your relationships with others, but also your relationship with yourself. You start to move through life with less resistance, less frustration, and more peace. And this peace can spread to those around you. When you lead with compassion, others feel it, and they often begin to respond in kind. You can create a ripple effect of kindness and understanding that extends far beyond your own life. In Buddhism, compassion is often paired with wisdom. The two work hand in hand. Wisdom helps us understand that all beings are interconnected. What happens to one person affects everyone. Compassion arises naturally from this understanding. When you see the world through the lens of interconnectedness, it becomes much easier to respond with kindness and empathy. You begin to see that, ultimately, we are all just trying to find happiness and avoid suffering. Compassion is the way to help each other on this journey. Another important aspect of compassion is forgiveness. Holding on to grudges or resentments only weighs us down. Forgiveness doesn't mean we forget the wrongs done to us, but it means we choose to let go of the anger and resentment that keep us trapped in suffering. When you forgive, you release yourself from the emotional burden of past hurts. You allow yourself to heal and move forward with a lighter heart. Compassion is also a deeply spiritual practice. It's a way to align ourselves with the greater good, with the well-being of others, and with the peace that comes from living a life of love and understanding. Every time you choose compassion, you are contributing to the healing of the world, even in small ways. And these small acts of kindness add up, creating a much more peaceful and harmonious world for all of us. As you practice compassion, you'll find that the people who were once your enemies or sources of frustration become allies. They might not change overnight, but your response to them will change, and that can lead to a shift in the relationship. When you approach life with compassion, you attract more compassion in return, and slowly, your world begins to change. Compassion, when combined with wisdom, creates an incredibly powerful strategy for navigating life's challenges. It allows you to turn difficult situations into opportunities for growth, healing, and connection. It teaches you to respond to others with empathy, to forgive, and to understand. And most importantly, it frees you from the grip of anger, resentment, and frustration. It opens the door to peace, love, and true happiness. So, the next time you find yourself facing a difficult person or situation, remember the power of compassion. Take a deep breath, open your heart, and choose to respond with understanding. You'll be amazed at how much more peaceful and fulfilling your life becomes when you do. Inner strength, building resilience through self-awareness. Life, as we all know, is full of ups and downs. It's like a river, flowing constantly, sometimes calm, other times wild. But no matter how strong the current is, there's one thing that can help you stay grounded: inner strength. This strength is not something you can see, touch, or measure. It's something that comes from deep within, built through understanding yourself, your thoughts, and your emotions. It's about knowing who you are, what you stand for, and how to remain steady when life shakes you. Let's think about a tree. A tree's strength doesn't come from the size of its trunk or the height of its branches, but from the deep roots that anchor it to the ground. The deeper and stronger the roots, the more resilient the tree is against the wind, rain, and storms. Just like the tree, your inner strength comes from deep self-awareness, from understanding your true nature. When you are grounded in who you truly are, you can withstand any challenge. In Buddhism, there's a concept called equanimity, a calm, balanced state of mind that remains undisturbed no matter the external circumstances. Equanimity doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or pretending that everything is okay when it's not. It means being aware of your emotions, understanding them, and choosing not to let them control your actions. It's about finding peace within yourself even when the world around you feels chaotic. Building this inner strength is a practice. It's not something that happens overnight. It requires consistent effort and awareness. The first step is becoming aware of your thoughts and feelings. Most of the time, we let our emotions take over without even realizing it. We react without thinking, especially in stressful situations. But with self-awareness, we can start to notice when we're reacting out of anger, fear, or frustration. We can pause, take a deep breath, and decide how we want to respond. Take a moment to think about a recent situation where you felt overwhelmed or frustrated. How did you respond? Did you let your emotions control you, or did you take a step back, reflect, and choose a response that was calm and constructive? If you can recall moments when you were able to respond with clarity and calmness, that's a sign that you are starting to tap into your inner strength. Self-awareness allows you to recognize patterns in your behavior and thoughts. For example, if you notice that you often get anxious in social situations, you can start to question why that happens. What are the underlying thoughts that trigger your anxiety? Are they based on assumptions or past experiences? By asking yourself these questions, you can begin to separate yourself from these thoughts, understanding that they are not who you are. Once you understand these patterns, you can begin to change them. You don't have to be a prisoner of your emotions or thoughts. Through mindfulness and meditation, you can learn to observe your mind without being swept away by it. When you can step back and observe your thoughts, you realize that they are just thoughts. They don't define you. This is a powerful shift. It's like watching clouds pass by in the sky. You don't hold on to them. You just let them come and go. Similarly, you don't have to hold on to every thought or emotion. You can just observe them and let them pass. One of the key teachings of Buddhism is that suffering comes from detachment to our desires, our expectations, and even our identity. When we are too attached to a certain way of thinking or being, we become fragile. Life's challenges, big or small, can shake us and cause us pain. But if we practice non-attachment, we can weather the storms of life with much more ease. Non-attachment doesn't mean not caring. It means being open to whatever comes without clinging to it. Imagine you're holding a piece of glass. If you hold it loosely, it won't break. But if you grip it tightly, it can shatter at the slightest pressure. Your emotions, desires, and thoughts are like that glass. If you hold on too tightly to them, they will break you. But if you hold them lightly, you can flow through life without letting them define or control you. This is the essence of inner strength. Resilience doesn't mean never falling down. It means getting back up every time you do. Life will knock you down at some point. You will face disappointment, failure, and pain. But true strength lies in how you respond. Will you let yourself be broken? Or will you rise again, wiser and stronger? Building resilience through self-awareness means developing the ability to bounce back, no matter how many times life challenges you. A powerful tool for building inner strength is meditation. Meditation is not just about sitting in silence. It's about developing a deep connection with your inner self. Through regular meditation, you can cultivate a sense of calm, focus, and clarity. It's like training your mind to stay steady in the face of life's storms. When you meditate, you start to understand the nature of your thoughts and emotions. You begin to see them as temporary, fleeting moments, not permanent parts of your identity. In Buddhism, meditation is a way to clear the mind and create space for wisdom and insight to arise. It's like cleaning a dusty window, so you can see the world more clearly. The clearer your mind, the stronger your inner foundation becomes. You begin to realize that you don't need to control everything around you. You just need to control how you respond to it. This is the essence of resilience, the ability to remain calm, steady, and grounded, no matter what happens. Another important aspect of building inner strength is acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean resigning yourself to a life of struggle or hardship. It means acknowledging the reality of your situation without resistance. When we resist what is happening, we only create more suffering for ourselves. But when we accept what is, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and frustration. Acceptance is not about giving up. It's about making peace with where you are right now and then moving forward with clarity and purpose. Resilience also comes from developing patience. In today's fast-paced world, we are often impatient with ourselves and others. We want things to happen immediately, but true strength comes from being able to wait without anxiety. Patience allows you to stay calm in the face of difficulty, knowing that everything unfolds in its own time. When you cultivate patience, you give yourself the space to respond to challenges thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Through inner strength and self-awareness, you create a solid foundation that no external force can shake. This doesn't mean that life will always be easy, but it does mean that no matter what comes your way, you will have the tools and wisdom to handle it. You will be like a tree, deeply rooted in who you are, strong enough to bend with the wind but never break. The key is to continue practicing self-awareness, mindfulness, and patience. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. The more you practice these qualities, the more you'll realize that you don't need to be perfect to be strong. Strength comes from being authentic, from knowing yourself, and from being willing to face life's difficulties with grace. When you face each day with this inner strength, you start to see challenges not as obstacles but as opportunities for growth. And every time you rise from a setback, you become more resilient, more centered, and more aligned with your true self. Remember, your inner strength is always there, waiting for you to tap into it. The more you nurture it, the more resilient you will become. And just like the river, no matter how turbulent the waters may seem, you will always find your way through. Detachment and acceptance. Mastering the art of letting go. Life is a series of moments. Some moments bring joy, some bring pain. Some moments are easy to bear, while others feel like they are too much to carry. Yet, there is one simple truth that many of us miss. Everything changes. The good times, the bad times, they all come and go. And when we try to hold on too tightly to any moment, whether good or bad, we end up suffering. It's like trying to hold on to water with your bare hands. It slips away, no matter how hard you try to hold on. This is where the wisdom of detachment comes in. Now, detachment doesn't mean that you stop caring or stop loving. It's not about shutting yourself off from the world. Instead, it's about understanding that you do not own the moment. You do not control life. Life is fluid, and everything in it, people, places, circumstances, are constantly changing. When you can accept this, you can start to live more freely, without the weight of expectations or attachments dragging you down. Let me explain with a simple example. Think about a beautiful flower in a field. You may admire it, appreciate its color, its fragrance, and its shape. But if you try to pluck it and keep it forever, it will wither away. Why? Because its beauty was in the moment, and by taking it out of that moment, you prevent it from living its natural life. The flower doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the moment it's in. And when you leave it in that moment, you allow it to be what it was meant to be. Now, think about your own life. How often do we hold on tightly to moments that are already gone? How often do we feel sad about the past or anxious about the future? How often do we grip our dreams and desires so tightly, afraid of losing them, that we lose sight of the present moment? When we do this, we create unnecessary suffering for ourselves. Detachment is the practice of letting go of the need to control. It's not about being indifferent to life's beauty. It's about accepting that the beauty, the joy, and the pain are all part of the same cycle. Just like the seasons change. Spring becomes summer, summer becomes fall, and fall becomes winter. Our lives go through different phases. Some phases bring growth, others bring decay. But just like the seasons, no phase lasts forever. Everything is temporary. And this brings us to acceptance. Acceptance is not about resigning yourself to something you don't like. It's about acknowledging what is, without judgment or resistance. Imagine a river flowing down a mountain. The water doesn't resist the rocks in its path. It simply flows around them, finding its way without struggling. Acceptance is like that. It's about allowing things to unfold naturally, without fighting them. When you accept that things will not always go your way, that life will sometimes be challenging, and that nothing is permanent, you can face these situations with peace. You stop trying to force life into your preferred mold. You stop clinging to what was, and you stop worrying about what will be. You simply live in the present moment, knowing that everything is temporary. This might sound simple, but in practice, it can be very difficult. Let's take an example. Imagine you lose something valuable to you, whether it's a job, a relationship, or even a dream you've worked hard for. It's natural to feel upset, angry, or sad. But if you hold on to that anger or sadness, you only cause more suffering. Instead, try this. Acknowledge your feelings. Let yourself feel them fully. But then, let go. Accept that this is the reality right now, and there's nothing you can do to change it. You may not be able to change the past, but you can change how you respond to it. This doesn't mean you give up or stop caring. On the contrary, it means you start to care in a deeper way. When you stop clinging to things, you open yourself to new opportunities. When you stop fighting against the current of life, you allow yourself to move with it instead of against it. Life will still have its challenges, but your relationship with those challenges will change. You won't see them as obstacles. You will see them as opportunities to grow. The Buddha often spoke of the power of detachment and acceptance. He taught that attachment is the root of suffering. When we cling to things, whether it's a person, an outcome, or an idea, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Why? Because nothing in life is permanent. People change. Situations change. Even our own minds and bodies change. But when we let go of the need to control everything, when we allow life to be as it is, we can find peace in the midst of chaos. Detachment also helps us break free from the cycle of desire. Often, we suffer because we want things to be different than they are. We desire things to go our way. We desire success, wealth, love, or approval. But when we tie our happiness to these desires, we give away our power. The more we desire, the more we expect, and the more we suffer when things don't meet those expectations. By practicing detachment, we stop depending on external conditions for our happiness. We learn to find peace within, no matter what is happening outside. Let's consider another example. Picture yourself at a busy airport. There are long lines, loud announcements, and many people rushing around. You could choose to feel frustrated by the chaos, or you could choose to remain calm and accept the situation as it is. In this moment, your peace doesn't depend on how the airport is running. It depends on how you react to it. If you resist, you will suffer. But if you accept, you can remain peaceful. In the same way, life presents us with many moments of uncertainty, discomfort, and disappointment. Detachment allows us to remain calm and composed, no matter what is happening around us. Acceptance allows us to let go of the need for things to be perfect and instead embrace the beauty of imperfection. One of the most powerful things about detachment is that it helps us grow emotionally and spiritually. When we detach from the results, we can focus on the process. We stop worrying about what will happen and focus on what we can do right now. Whether we're working on a project, building a relationship, or pursuing a dream, detachment helps us do our best without the fear of failure or the pressure of expectations. Ultimately, detachment and acceptance are about freedom. The more we let go of our need to control, the more free we become. We free ourselves from the weight of expectations, from the pressure of shoulds and musts. We stop trying to force life into a box and start living it as it is. And when we live in this way, we find peace, joy, and freedom in every moment. This is the power of detachment. It's not about becoming indifferent or cold. It's about becoming aware. Aware of the impermanence of life, aware of our own reactions, and aware of our ability to choose how we respond. When we detach, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering, and we open ourselves to the peace that already exists within us. Meditation as a tool, cultivating calmness and clarity. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a still lake on a quiet morning. The water is so calm you can see your reflection perfectly. Now, imagine throwing a stone into that lake. Ripples spread across the surface, distorting the image. This is what happens to our minds every day. Thoughts, worries, and emotions act like stones, creating ripples in the lake of our minds. Meditation is the tool that helps us calm those ripples and see clearly again. Meditation is not about escaping the world or stopping your thoughts completely. It's about observing them without getting carried away. Imagine you're sitting by a busy road. Cars zoom past, some fast, some slow. Meditation teaches you to sit by that road and watch the cars, your thoughts, go by without chasing after them. You're no longer pulled in every direction. Instead, you remain still, peaceful, and aware. The beauty of meditation is that anyone can do it, anywhere, anytime. You don't need a quiet mountaintop or hours of free time. You can start by just sitting in a chair, closing your eyes, and focusing on your breath. Take a deep breath in, and let it out slowly. That's it. In that moment, you're meditating. Why is meditation so powerful? It helps us build two key skills, calmness and clarity. Calmness is the ability to stay steady, even in the middle of chaos. Life is unpredictable. Problems arise, deadlines loom, and people around us may not always be kind. Meditation gives us the strength to remain calm when things don't go our way. It's like building a shield around your mind that protects you from stress and anxiety. Clarity, on the other hand, is about seeing things as they truly are. Often, we react to situations not because of what's happening, but because of our interpretations. A minor disagreement with a friend might spiral into a bigger argument because we assume they don't care about us. Meditation helps us step back, observe our thoughts, and respond wisely instead of reacting emotionally. Think of meditation as training for your mind. Just like physical exercise strengthens your body, meditation strengthens your mental muscles. Over time, you'll notice that you're less reactive, more patient, and better at handling challenges. Imagine facing a stressful day at work and staying composed, or dealing with a personal loss with grace and acceptance. That's the power meditation can bring to your life. Buddhism emphasizes meditation as a core practice because it directly addresses the root of human suffering, the restless and untamed mind. By meditating regularly, you begin to understand your own mind. You notice patterns, habits, and triggers. This awareness is the first step toward transforming your life. One of the simplest and most effective forms of meditation is mindfulness meditation. Here's how you can try it. Find a comfortable place to sit. You don't need to sit cross-legged. A chair is fine. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Bring your attention to your breath. Notice how it feels as you inhale and exhale. If your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring your focus back to your breath. That's it. Start with just 5 minutes a day and gradually increase the time as you feel more comfortable. Another form of meditation is loving-kindness meditation, where you focus on cultivating compassion and goodwill. Begin by wishing yourself happiness, health, and peace. Then extend those wishes to your loved ones, acquaintances, and even people you may have conflicts with. This practice softens the heart and helps you approach life with kindness. Meditation is not a quick fix. It's a lifelong practice. Some days, your mind will feel calm and focused. Other days, it will feel restless. Both are okay. The goal is not perfection but persistence. Each time you meditate, you're taking a step toward greater peace and understanding. Remember, the benefits of meditation go beyond the time you spend sitting quietly. It spills over into every aspect of your life. You'll notice yourself becoming more present, less stressed, and more compassionate. Meditation changes not only how you experience life, but also how you interact with others. In our fast-paced world, where distractions are everywhere, meditation is like finding an oasis in the desert. It's a moment to pause, breathe, and reconnect with yourself. When life feels overwhelming, meditation reminds you that peace is always within reach. You just need to take a moment to tap into it. So, start small. Take a few minutes today to close your eyes and breathe. Let the ripples in your mind settle. With time, you'll discover that meditation isn't just a practice, it's a way of life. It's the key to cultivating the calmness and clarity you need to win every situation in life. Conclusion: transform your life, share your light. As we reach the end of this journey, I want to remind you of something important. Life is not about the challenges we face, but how we choose to respond to them. Every situation, whether it's joy or pain, success or failure, is an opportunity for growth. And this growth, if nurtured with wisdom and compassion, can transform not only your life but the lives of others around you. Think about this for a moment. Every challenge you encounter is like a seed being planted. The way you respond to that challenge is the water and sunlight that will help that seed grow. If you meet each challenge with patience, mindfulness, and understanding, that seed will blossom into wisdom. But if you face it with anger, fear, or frustration, it can grow into something that holds you back. The choice is always yours. In Buddhism, there is a concept called enlightenment, which means waking up to the truth of life. It's not about becoming perfect, but about seeing things as they truly are, without the distortions of our desires or fears. When you live in this way, you can respond to any situation with clarity and peace. The more you practice this, the more you begin to realize that you are not just a passive observer of life. You are an active participant in shaping your reality. This is true freedom. You may ask, how do I apply this in my everyday life? It's simpler than you might think. Start by practicing mindfulness. Every day, take a few moments to stop, breathe, and become fully aware of your surroundings. This practice will help you stay grounded, no matter how chaotic the world around you becomes. By simply being present in the moment, you'll find that you can handle situations with calmness, instead of reacting impulsively. Another key practice is compassion. The more you can develop compassion for yourself, the more you can extend that to others. Think of the times when you felt frustrated or upset with someone. How did that affect your peace of mind? Now think of a time when you chose to respond with understanding and kindness. Notice the difference? Compassion doesn't mean you let people walk over you. It simply means responding with a sense of care and understanding, instead of reacting out of anger or fear. Then there's detachment. This doesn't mean you don't care about the world around you. It means not clinging to things, people, or outcomes. Life is constantly changing, and trying to hold on to what is temporary will only cause suffering. When you detach, you are free to enjoy life without fear of losing it. You can experience joy without holding on to it, and sadness without being consumed by it. At the heart of all of this is the idea of balance. In Buddhism, we speak of the middle way, which is the path of moderation. Life is about finding balance between extremes, between work and rest, between action and stillness, between attachment and detachment. When you live in balance, you become like a tree that bends with the wind, but never breaks. You flow with life instead of resisting it. This balance is key to winning every situation. We must also remember that life is interconnected. Every action, every word, and every thought has an impact, not just on you but on the world around you. This is the law of karma, the idea that our actions come back to us. If you want to live a life of peace and harmony, it starts with the choices you make in every moment. By being mindful of your actions, and choosing to act with integrity, you begin to create a life that reflects the values you want to see in the world. So, what does this all mean for you? It means that you have the power to create the life you want. Starting right now, you can take the lessons from this video and apply them to every situation you face. Whether you are dealing with a difficult person, a challenging task, or even an unexpected setback, you now have the tools to respond in a way that brings you peace, wisdom, and strength. I encourage you to start small. Begin with one situation where you often feel stressed or overwhelmed. The next time you find yourself in that situation, pause, take a breath, use mindfulness to ground yourself. Then, choose how you want to respond. Will you react with fear, or will you choose to face it with clarity and compassion? The more you practice, the more natural it will become. As you continue to grow in wisdom, you'll find that life becomes less about avoiding difficulty and more about learning from it. You will encounter challenges, yes, but you'll meet them with an inner strength that cannot be shaken. Every situation, no matter how difficult, will become an opportunity for growth. And in doing so, you'll begin to transform not just your own life, but the lives of those around you. But there's more to this. As you walk this path, don't keep the light to yourself. Share it. The wisdom you gain, the peace you cultivate, the love you give, all of it is meant to be shared. When you share your light with others, you help them find their own path to peace and happiness. And in doing so, you create a ripple effect that spreads throughout the world. Remember, life is not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about showing up with an open heart, a clear mind, and a willingness to learn. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to take the next step with faith that, as you walk, the path will unfold. In closing, I want to thank you for joining me on this journey. Remember, every situation in life, no matter how challenging, is an opportunity for growth. The more you practice wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness, the more you'll find that you can handle anything life throws your way. So, take these teachings, live them, and share them with others. Together, we can create a world of peace, love, and understanding. If you found value in this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. By subscribing, you'll continue to receive wisdom and insights that will help you grow, no matter where you are on your journey. Thank you for watching, and remember, every situation is an opportunity to transform, to grow, and to win.